Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I am your host, as always, J Villain, aka thatvillainjay. And tonight, we have a very special and controversial treat for you. With me, as always, is the numbest of skulls, Mr. Numbskull himself, wearing his competitive Magic Jank jersey. Lovely. We are diving in and delving in and possibly even getting into the hottest takes of the year. This is the Universes Beyond episode. The most controversial aspect of Magic currently. It's fair to say that this is the hottest subject in Magic right now. Even eclipsing the is EDH ruining everything or is it not debate. Somehow it's even eclipsed that.
Now is Universes Beyond ruining everything.
Yeah, what's ruining Magic? We have a lot of nuanced takes. I want to start by saying...
Why did millennials ruin Magic?
Yes, exactly. Why did millennials ruin Magic? We're going to have a lot of nuanced takes here. This is... I don't want this to come off preliminary as a Universes Beyond hate train. That's not what we're doing tonight. We're really trying to delve into some subjects and get some clarity on things and try to understand where our feelings are on it and a lot of other people's feelings and opinions. It's not just going to be a bash fest because there's parts that I like, there's parts that I don't like. And I think that's fair for anything. So we're going to get some nuanced stuff that's Wizards doing, stuff that other people are doing. We're going to get into all of it today. And we want to hear from you. This is why I wanted to open this one. I want to hear your takes in the comment section. I want to see them in the live chat. I want to know your feelings on Universes Beyond because I really want to gauge the community temperature of what's coming, what's happened, and where we're going with this because it is a very, very big deal. So,
yes.
That all being said,
this one's a good opportunity for the council to be the council. You know, let us know what you think. And this is one of the episodes where we, not to say we rely on your opinion, but we really are going to give you guys a chance to kind of voice what you want here. We asked thoughts and opinions in the Discord, and we got some responses from council members. So we definitely are going to, discuss their points and give our takes there and kind of, see how we feel, that things that they want may or may not work, whatever it may be. But as always, the point of the council is, we discussion, we're kind of all a part of it, while Jay and I may be the ones who are like the figureheads and effectively speak for you. We do still encourage you at all times to give your opinion on anything Magic related for the matter, because that's just kind of what it's all for, and a good part of the reason why Jay and I even started this. Yeah. So,
yeah, we definitely want to have a roundtable discussion, as we often say.
Yeah.
So.
Roundtable, open dialogue, whatever you'd like it to be. However spicy your opinion is, whatever you want to say, we're here.
This is the place to just be respectful. That's all we ask.
Yeah. As long as you're respectful, mainly to us and other members. If you want to say fuck Universes Beyond, we're not going to be mad about that. Yeah. But
So, that all being said, speaking of the council, we'd like to thank the council for this episode. We are completely Patreon funded. It pays for our studio and our various other Magic expenses. Yes. So we want to give you an opportunity. If you want to join the Patreon, get into the Black Council Discord, get early access to the videos, and you too can share your spicy opinions right away and get them featured in a video. We'd love to have your support on the Patreon for the Black Council. You also get your name read in the credits, which I think the Numbest of Skulls is going to do for us right now.
Yeah, I'm going to read them here, and we do have a new patron, so we're very thankful for that. I'll go down the list here, and of course, once again, thank you to all of the patrons. Like Jay was saying, you do get patron exclusive benefits by being a patron, as little as $1 a month or $1 an episode. Equally, you're going to be in that council Discord, and that's where we, ask these questions, and that's where you kind of make sure your voice is heard. And we also asked what kind of episodes you guys want to see. So this is going to be an opportunity for you to speak up on that too. If there's content that you want Jay and I to cover, we take those suggestions there as well. So without further ado, we'll go down the list here. And of course, thank you to every patron that we have. Starting it off with Shock Smash, Shane Hare, Neptune, Mez Undead, VG, Zyron, Jason Flood, Jay Langford, Metal Mechanic, Notorious D, Deadfast, Argent Icon, Elvian Breams, Jamel Langford the Third, Trek Sadactyl, Lord Gypticus the Flipticus, Mamulian, Nickel Nuts, Ulfveer, Dante Valentine, Savrit, and Clever Sound. We really appreciate it, guys. And we have a couple of people here. What is that? 3, 4, 5, 7 or 8 of you guys have really been here for coming up on 3 years. And
long time supporters, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hell, 2 of you are over 3, 4, 5 of you are over 3 years. By the time this all comes out, it'll be about 6 or 7 of you who've been here for 3 years as well. So a lot of patrons are coming up on their 3-year membership, which we really appreciate that. And like Jay said, we cannot do this stuff without you guys. So it is much appreciated, and we hope that we bring you, as value that's at least worth the price of admission, hopefully worth more. But we're glad you're here, and we hope it's still worth it.
Absolutely. And if you could, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And again, we want to see those comments, and we want to see a lot of feedback on this one, guys, because we want to throw it to you. So on to our first topic. I want to get a little bit of, what we talk about, define our terms. So if you don't know, Universes Beyond is the line of products that is from outside IPs, from outside the Magic universe. This would be Dungeons and Dragons. It started with Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, Final Fantasy, most recently Spider-Man. All of these non-Magic IPs brought in. Now, the interesting thing about what happened here is this year, meaning 2025, they declared all of them to be standard legal. Before, the Lord of the Rings set, the Dungeons and Dragons set, I think the Dungeons and Dragons set was standard legal too. It was kind of an annoying set, but it was legal. Yeah, it was like half and half, and but interestingly enough, the Lord of the Rings was only available in Alchemy when it was out.
Yes. And historic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is not normally there. So yeah, Lord of the Rings was only available on Alchemy and all that stuff, so it wasn't there. But recently, the biggest change would have been that all of the new Universes Beyond are going to be standard legal. Right. This is along with the influx of a lot of new Universes Beyond sets. We had 3 this year. Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, and then coming up, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Next year, we're tripling, quadrupling down with 4 sets of Universes Beyond.
And here's 7 overall?
7 sets overall.
Okay, yeah.
4 Universes Beyond. We will officially be at more Universes Beyond releasing for Magic than we are in-universe sets. Which is very, very shocking. We are getting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in March, Marvel Superheroes in June, Hobbit in August, and Star Trek in November. That means there's actually going to be a gap between April and October where there's no new in-universe sets coming. Between Strixhaven and Reality Fracture, we will completely be out of the Magic universe for, approximately 6 months almost. Between in-universe releases. And
that kind of happened this year too, if you look at when Edge of Eternities came out, right?
They were staggered this year. It was on, off, on, off, on, off.
Well, yeah, but if you look at when Edge of Eternities come out, because the last 2 this year are Universes Beyond between Spider-Man
Yeah. There's a
So there's at least maybe a 4 or 5 month drop off, something like that, right? So they're kind of
Spider-Man to Avatar, Avatar to Lorwyn. Yeah.
Yeah, so by the time Lorwyn comes out from when Universes Beyond was released, I think that might almost be 5 or 6 months then, right?
Yes, the last time that we'll have seen a in-universe set will be Edge of Eternities, which is surprising.
Was that August?
That, I believe, was August, yes.
So August to like
January,
mid-January, basically. So that's about 5 months. Yeah, okay.
So it is no hyperbole to say that coming up, this game will be more Universes Beyond than it is in-universe sets, at least for that release schedule of 2026.
Yep.
Overall sets, I don't know if we've peaked overall sets or what's available in Standard. I think we're going to be almost at 50% in-universe, 50% out-of-universe of what is
by the next
Standard
rotation.
legal. Yeah, definitely by the next rotation, it'll be much higher. The concentration will be much, much higher. So we are headed into a Universes Beyond era, for good or for bad, and we've got to kind of talk about it. I have mixed feelings about it. I am not a Universes Beyond anti. I'm not 100% against all of this. I think that some of it is perfectly fine and appropriate. I do think that some of it is also overboard and doesn't belong. So I have a lot of nuanced opinions about it. I am not a diehard anti. As time goes on, I find myself getting more and more frustrated with it than excited. I think that Final Fantasy was a hit, and Spider-Man was not.
Right.
Avatar remains to be seen. So it's been a mixed bag. I'll get back into kind of my opinions. I want to know how you're feeling about it, because we have different... You play a lot more paper than me. You play competitively. I'm mostly on Arena. You know, you're on Arena a lot, but I'm like 99% on Arena, and I don't play competitive. So what is your... Where we are to where we're going, where is your level?
Yeah. I think it's something that we kind of... The biggest thing for me is we kind of tried to like really keep an open mind to it for a long time. Lord of the Rings came out, and I think Jay and I were actually both excited for Lord of the Rings, whether it was, going to be standard legal or not. We were like, no, that's cool. That's like one of the... Because everybody said it's like, if you're going to pick a universe, that's one of the best ones to pick to line up with something like Magic. Everybody liked the idea of Lord of the Rings. And then they said, okay, we're going to do, what was the next one? Was Final Fantasy the next one directly after Lord of the Rings? Or was there another one?
I don't believe there was an interceding one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Final Fantasy... So that's the thing. Final Fantasy was pretty good. And both of these kind of set a high expectation. And then Spider-Man just, Spider Path. Someone called it that in the Discord, but it was pretty underwhelming. Are there some cool cards in Spider-Man? Undoubtedly, yes. It gave us Moreland or Luis. I've been having a ton of fun with some of the cards, but it's not a good set to draft, to the point where you want to talk about competitive play. At the Pro Tour, they didn't even draft Spider-Man. They draft Edge of Eternities because you would have had such a poor field for drafting with that many people who are at the Pro Tour, which I think was like 300 people or something like that. You would have had such a poor... It would have been like a very poor experience. There's not enough cards to do a simple draft, kind of like how all that plays out. It's just a terrible experience. Some people say it was better suited for the pick 2 drafting, but not everybody's sold on the pick 2 draft either. And you don't really do pick 2 in paper. You do it in, on Arena. That's what it's for. So the fact that Wizards had their own Pro Tour not use a Universes Beyond draft I think it directly communicates that they also acknowledge that it wasn't good. They know that. Furthermore, from a competitive standpoint, and well, I don't want to talk about it, take up too much time with it. Maybe we can make it its own.
No, please, yeah, we'll talk about competitive down the road, but yeah, just get your.
People aren't showing up to RCQs right now, be it sealed for Spider-Man or standard. You know, a guy Jay and I are both friends with Karl MTG. He went and he lives in New Jersey, and you know, New Jersey's a fairly wealthy state. People can afford to go to RCQs. People have money to play Magic out there. He went to an RCQ on a weekend and 2 people showed up. And this isn't at, you know, this is at a pretty decent store that usually has RCQs fire. You need at least 8 to fire, but a lot of RCQs usually have like at least 30 people. You know, the one that I won, even speaking of that, and this is before Spider-Man even came out, that only had, I think, 15 people. Okay. Now, it made it easier for me to win it. I'll put it that way. But, you know, I'll be brutally honest here. It almost like makes you question if you even played well, because it's like, well, there was only 15 people there, so like, is this even that good of an accomplishment? Equally, when I go to the regional championship in January, that's going to be like 1,500 people. We're not even sure if everyone's going to register for it, or if these RCQs aren't firing. It may be like half the turnout that we expected, which is bad. It's bad for actually getting the best out of what they call premier play. Yeah. There are a lot of good players who aren't playing Magic right now. I know a lot of good players, better than me, who are not playing Magic right now. Or they say they feel disenfranchised, standard sucks, whatever they may say about it. And a lot of these people don't play standard a lot usually, but it's just like they're not even playing the other formats. Like they're not even playing modern or the other stuff right now. Like, they just like don't really want to play Magic. So it's definitely a bit of an issue. I think that also how long they've abandoned Pioneer for isn't good for competitive play either. Having as many, like, I think this year, if I'm not mistaken, the seasons for the RCQs were like 1 season of Modern and 3 seasons of Standard. Whereas maybe you would have had 2 seasons of Standard and then a Pioneer season peppered in there, but because they didn't do they're not doing Pioneer competitive right now, they had to do 3 Standard, and the best way to push Universes Beyond cards is to have more Standard tournaments. But now guess what? Yeah, your Standard tournaments aren't firing and people don't want to play the format. Equally, that can maybe lead us to the conversation about the lack of bans, which can directly contribute to how a set is perceived. We liked Final Fantasy. Jay loved it. Yeah. I liked it. I really liked it. I don't know if I loved it. And partly because I've never played a Final Fantasy game. Still, I do need to play one. I actually have Final Fantasy VII, I think, downloaded on my phone. I just haven't played it yet. But anyway, VV is such an issue. Yeah. And Riddler's from Edge of Eternities, which Riddler wouldn't be as bad without VV. But there are some Final Fantasy cards that are kind of a really big problem. VV is the biggest issue for sure. And them choosing not to ban VV, saying, "Oh, well, we want to wait until
the 10th," is what we're understanding.
Was it November 10th? Yeah. So we're like 2.5 weeks out. Maybe by the time this airs, maybe it'll be 2 weeks out when you watch it. But but that was also that was like 2 months ago they said that. You know what I mean? We've been enduring this for how long now? Yeah. And you want to see how your product is doing, You want to see if your decisions were good or bad. Your customers, your player base, the people who keep it alive will always give you the feedback that you need accordingly. You know, I work a job where the number one things that matters is member satisfaction survey scores.
Yeah.
And when we do something new, our members let us know if they don't like it. Similar to this podcast. If Jay and I did something that people really didn't like, we would probably see people leaving the council, and we would be like, damn, people didn't like that shit.
Yeah.
And I think you know where I'm going with this. Their response was, and they already had a bad response to the people begging for bans. And they gave some roundabout mental gymnastics answer for it that was so dumb.
They did say that they're moving up. They're moving up the
schedule.
They said they were going to ban it a little earlier. However,
it needs to be banned before they wrote that article. That was
basically what they said though is like, hey, it's going to be banned. We know it's broken. You have to wait though, which was a little bit odd.
And then the reasoning was, you know, we want people to be able to play the VV decks for the people who bought it. And I think that was them betting on people still buying the stuff. But then, you know what? Nobody's playing VV. In paper, I've gone to a few standard RCQs that have fired. Not one person in the room, and this is in different towns for each one. Not one person in the room at any of those have played VV. Nobody wants to play it. Nobody wants to buy that card. It's too expensive, and they know it's going to get banned anyway. Yeah. So they're not playing it. Equally, nobody wants to like be that guy, I guess, kind of like in my, you know what I mean, in my area. But yeah, that's such a huge problem. And this is also going off what Carlos said. They don't want to inhibit people's ability to play the deck who've bought the deck. Well, now your tournaments aren't firing, and clearly nobody's buying the deck. They know it's going to get banned. They don't want someone to reach across the table and slap them when they tell them that they're playing VV.
Yeah.
They don't want to, you know what I mean? They don't want to be ostracized like that. Everybody's going to be looking at you if you're like the one guy in the room who's playing VV. It's like, you know how we all look at the people on Arena who are playing it right now. You know what I mean? It's
people, at least in my chatter, and people tell me, they're like, I see it come up, I'll just scoop. I don't even care about the loss. Yeah, because it's a waste of my time.
They don't even give them the actual like satisfaction of it.
Yeah,
yeah. And the worst part of it for me is like, and you can watch my VODs, dude. I'll like call out
every move
poorly. Well, but I'll call out how poorly they're piloting the deck. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if they misplay every turn; they can still win. That's my biggest problem, is that you have a deck that's so powerful that people play it horrendously to the point where it just doesn't matter. They still win, which makes you feel so defeated, and like there's no point in you playing Magic that day. You know what I mean? It's not a good experience. And I think you're at a point now, or we're at a point now where, you know, they say they don't want to piss off those people, but I think now we're at a point where those people are in a vast minority because nobody wants to actually play that deck. So then that tells me what did that statement really mean? I think that statement really meant we wanted to sell more Final Fantasy packs and boxes. We want the VV stock to stay up. There's been speculation. Does Wizards have some type of quota of Final Fantasy to sell? Do they have an agreement that they have to print these Final Fantasy cards for a certain amount of time? You know what I mean? With Final Fantasy, or is it Square Enix who does that? Is that who makes that? Okay, so it's probably with Square Enix. Do they have an agreement? Hey, you got to keep these cards printed, keep printing them for a year, 18 months, 2 years, whatever it is. And if you have to do that, but you banned the card that is the craziest in the set and is the most value and is a chase card, a chase mythic, right? what does that do for your sales going forward when you're required to continue to print it? And I think it's I think it's a profit and loss decision more than it is a decision rooted in player experience, customer satisfaction. It's them thinking about profit more than anything else. And that is, you know, because you always have to consider what someone's motives are when they do something. And you know, they can sit here and lie to your face and tell you all day that, oh well, it's about, you know, bringing in new players. But what does new players mean for you? It means more money. You know,
yeah.
It means your game lasts. And we said that, and we defended it to a degree. We said, hey, we're gonna need new players to some degree if we want to keep this shit going. We conceded that. We understand that, but it's getting to the point where the profit now is starting to matter more than the satisfaction of players and people who've been playing for 30 years.
Well,
you know?
Here's the thing.
That's where it's getting me.
Here is kind of the problem, and I think that here's the underlying crux of the issue is a matter of balance. Because
or a lack thereof, yeah.
Turning into the Spider-Man question, this was not a good. This turned people away from Magic. It did not do well. Let me tell you something, and I'll talk for a minute here about the reception of Spider-Man versus the reception of Spider-Man. First of all, let me say Spider-Man had a lot of different problems. I don't think there was any one issue with Spider-Man. I think it was a whole host of problems, namely the Omen Paths difference, the fact that it's a modern, it's a weird setting that's very focused on legendaries. It's very focused on spiders, like the tribe in it is spiders, which is a little weird. People don't really like spiders, you know.
They're scared of them, some people.
Yeah, people are like turned off by the idea. There was this hero and villain thing. The mechanics weren't real exciting. Mayhem was just madness by another name. So there's a lot of different, there's like a lot of different issues. It's small, like you were saying, it's hard to draft. There was not one issue. It's not like we can point to something like what's the one everyone always makes fun of? Fallen Empires, where all the cards were just weak as shit. Like none of them could do anything. They were just weak cards.
Right.
It had like a lot of different problems. Like you said, there are some highlights in it. There's some good cards in there. There's some cards that have become, you know, I would say that are a staple in my tool chest. Luis, the House That Grows Hungry. You know, I even really like Egrix. There's a couple. Villainous Wrath, very good. So it's not like it's full of. It's not like it's just the worst thing ever printed. But there's a myriad, any number of reasons could have been to it. So getting to my point is, here is the brass tacks. The most views, watch time, interaction I've ever had on my channel, in my channel's whole about 5-year life, was Final Fantasy.
Right.
That is the most popular set I have ever covered, more than Lord of the Rings, more than Foundations. It exploded in popularity. It was the highest view count that I ever had, consistency. It absolutely was a rocket ship. We went into Edge of Eternities, which kept some of that momentum. People really liked that one. I flatlined with Spider-Man. No video of mine, I think no Spider-Man video ever went over. I have one video that got to 5,000 views.
Okay.
That's the highest viewed Spider-Man, aka Omen Paths video, that I've ever put out. Comparatively, when I did Final Fantasy, now it could be, you could chalk a lot of that up to algorithm fuckery or whatever, you know, whatever you want to say. Oh well, it's up and downs. With more subscribers, with, you know, almost 1,000 more subscribers from then until now, you know, you have 5,000 on the premiere of on the premiere day, basically saying this is the premiere day of Omen Paths. 5,000 views for that final video. But then you talk about something like Final Fantasy. Each video, the first 4 videos that I put up, almost 20,000 apiece.
Wow.
4,000, 400, 500, 600 likes on each one individually. Still getting views to this day. You know, my Lightning Cloud video is still being viewed. Like, I see it consistently in my top viewed for the month was, you know, the Cloud and Lightning combination video. The amount of enthusiasm, engagement, and in just general input and flux into the game was the biggest I've ever seen it. So we have this strange dichotomy now where I don't know what to expect. Yeah. Final Fantasy, the biggest, most enthusiasm I've ever had for my channel in its life. Spider-Man, worse than AetherHub, worse than Aetherdrift. Worse than Aetherdrift with less subscribers, with more subscribers. So there's more people having the content available and less people clicking on it.
And they're still choosing not to watch it.
And they're still choosing not to watch it.
Yeah.
The low levels of engagement, it's obviously something is there.
Yeah.
Something
there's some correlation.
Something is not working. Something misfired on this one. Yeah. Now, I will say, here's the other thing. Lord of the Rings. When my channel was a lot younger then. The biggest event that I had for Lord of the Rings stuff, and still my most viewed video of all times, is a Lord of the Rings deck, is a Nazgul deck.
Sure.
So my experience with Universes Beyond has been largely positive up until now.
From a creator standpoint.
From a creator standpoint of, and listen, maybe it's apocryphal, but I can only view what people are watching, what they're saying, what I'm going to watch or what I'm going to view. They liked Lord of the Rings. They liked Final Fantasy. They did not like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's hard to pin down the reason why. I have my theories, and I think we're going to talk about that next.
Okay.
Because, in my opinion, there's a couple of main reasons that, and I think that's what the danger for Universes Beyond is.
Yeah.
So it's concerning as a content creator going forward. Am I looking at Avatar? Am I looking at an absolute flop that nobody is going to watch? And I'm investing a lot of time and effort and resources into it. I've got to get the cards. Or is it going to be a Final Fantasy? Is it going to blow up? Or is it going to be somewhere in between? It's very, very hard to gauge, and it is a little bit jarring. It's confusing. The pit, the pit that making Spider-Man content put my channel in was impressive, and I want to say that it's not just me. Jim Davis, in his Bronze to Mythic series, he suspended his Bronze to Mythic series for Spider-Man for this season.
Due to viewership or just draft experience, or
due to viewership and general, a couple of reasons. Yeah, one of the main reasons was people weren't really watching it. It wasn't worth the investment of the time. And I think that also it just was not performing well, and also was difficult. So I don't know if that had ever happened. But yeah, it is a very, very strange. Spider-Man has cooled me. Omen Path / Spider-Man is cool. Now it could be because the reason is, the only reason is because of the Omen Path's different. People didn't understand it. They didn't like it. It's Omen Paths. It's Spider-Man. It's this. It's that. People don't know what to search. It could be that. But again, Spider-Man had a lot of different issues, and these are potential issues that come up when it comes to a Universes Beyond set, generally speaking. So I can tell you, from the 90 days. Today, what is today? Today is October. So we're talking about from September to October. I had a 8% decrease in views, 8% decrease on the lower than average. It was 88% lower than the last couple of days, 16% lower than 16% lower subscribers.
Wow.
and 25% less revenue was the last 90 days. So yeah, it is, as a content creator, it does make you nervous. Am I going to have to get out there and try to make something out of nothing? You know, but that, again, for the new year coming up, when we have all these universes beyond, what's going to happen? It makes me very trepidatious. It makes me nervous for the game.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what problems Spider-Man might have and what problems Universes Beyond might have in general that may have caused this anomalous event, let's call it.
Hopefully anomalous, yeah.
First things first, setting.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I don't believe that there are things that are congruous that are going to work well with Universes Beyond. I genuinely think that they don't fit the Magic brand in general. Namely, the concept of these other worlds that are non-magical. I think that Final Fantasy was a good fit because people understand from a gameplay standpoint, oh, I've played Sephiroth. I've attached equipment to him and attacked with him. That makes sense to me in my brain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it kind of made sense in like Lord of the Rings with some of the weapons, and it made sense in like D&D because you played with the D&D stuff, you know.
D&D is basically the grandfather of fantasy. It's the modern fantasy. It's like there just isn't modern fantasy settings without D&D or Lord of the Rings. They're so ubiquitous that Lord of the Rings basically invented, I mean, it did, it's not even a question, it invented the modern fantasy novel. With elves and dwarves and swords and magic and evil, like, it is the absolute archetype.
The foundation.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's the McDonald's of fast food. It's what invented it. It's for good or for worse. What is... Oh, continue, please.
I was just gonna say that I think especially we saw it with Spider-Man, and I think because a big thing for me was it felt like, and maybe it was the plane of just being like, I know New York City is a big city, but it's at the end of the day it's just New York City, you know. Yeah. Compared to the world, it's not large. Compared to an entire plane that can be infinite, that could be as big as you make it because it's made up. It's whatever. You know what I mean? It felt like the limitations of it being just tied to New York City, which, you know, Spider-Man is what it is, and as a comic and as a movie and as a cartoon, whatever medium it's ever been on for you, it's obviously been successful. It's Marvel, you know. But at the end of the day, what it felt like to me was they were grasping at straws to get some of these card names. Like what was the one was like, I want pictures of Spider-Man, like that's like a quote, like, you know what I mean? Like, they had to resort to putting, now some of them, I'm glad they put the memes in there, but they had to resort to memes because they didn't have anything to put in.
Yeah.
India Spider-Man, are you serious? It's just Spider-Man with an Indian dude's wig, like
Spider-Man UK, which is...
Yeah, what are we talking about?
The prof pointed that out. He's like, I have no frame of reference for this character. Like, why does he...
So you just don't care.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like they were just, you know, scrambling to fill the slots, which that's never been a problem before with Magic, you know?
So from what I understand, that originally was not this, it was originally like a supplemental set, but those all sold poorly. They don't do well. So they kind of hastily beat it into a full release. And that is kind of the problem. It was kind of filled up with fluff, and even so, it wasn't that big. It wasn't a big set. The powerful cards are all legendaries. All the powerful creatures are legendaries. There's no, you know, we don't have an Orcish Bowmaster situation or a Unstoppable Slasher, or like, wow, this non-legendary creature, maybe it's a rare, but this non-legendary creature is super powerful. It's an auto include.
And if I get
any
2 or 3 of them on the board, it's like game over.
Yeah, anything that we had was legendary. Anything any powerful creature, like we love Luis, but he's legendary. You can't have more than one of him.
Yeah.
So you have this ongoing issue of this. This was particularly a non-suitable set. It was so awkward, and I think that to say this, I'm going to lay out what I think belongs. And I'm going to make a full-length video about this because I'm going to explain my theory. And maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. Because I want to say what doesn't belong is fantastical settings that don't have any magical themes. What belongs in Magic is a magical setting, meaning that there is a magical system. There is a supernatural element, not just a fantastical element. But
not just getting bit by a spider.
Yeah, I know superpowers are fantastical, but
not
there
supernatural.
They're not supernatural in the sense that, because technically, if you want to say what it is, Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider, and it changed his DNA. He got spider DNA. Now that is fantastical. That can't actually happen in real life, but there is an explanation. If I say I am evoking fire from my hands, much like Avatar, I just bend it. Fire appears out of nowhere. There's no rational explanation. Violates the laws of physics. Clearly, it's a magical effect. It's not a natural one. It's part of the natural world, maybe you could say, but moving around water, whatever. But there isn't this kind of lampshade of, well, this is how it happened. Thermodynamics works this way. It's not really like that. So
yeah, and kind of like the Ring and Lord of the Rings and some of that stuff. Like that's magical. I think
it's purely magical. Yeah, it's a magic ring. It has it is filled with willpower. That's essentially what it is.
How about magical elements in Final Fantasy?
Very clear. People cast magic. They use a system called Magicka. They have summons. They literally summon creatures.
Right.
It's one of the magic systems. So like it makes perfect sense to summon Shiva. There is a button on Final Fantasy menu that says summon. So when you say I'm going to cast this creature,
you're summoning.
It makes perfect sense. I'm going to cast this fire spell. It's going to do fire damage to all of the creatures out that I'm facing right now. It's called fire
magic.
Fire magic. It's literally it's baked into the pie. Now there's technology. There's mechanisms and weird magitech stuff, but there is a clear magical system. There's ice, fire, lightning, summoning. Holy shadow. There is a system in place, and it is a magical world. It is not New York. I think that one of the big issues is making it exist in our universe. I think magic doesn't belong in our universe, which makes me very nervous for superheroes,
like
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And also Star Trek. Star Trek takes place in our universe. It's in the universe in the future, and there's no magic.
Yeah.
So I think that ultimately these are just not going to have a good feel. Some kind of burr, some sort of rough edge sticks in your brain when you're playing them. You go, I'm putting on this Spider-Man. It just doesn't feel like you play Sephiroth. You're like, I understand Sephiroth. He does this. I've played with him in a game before.
This card's awesome.
I fought Sephiroth. I've dealt with him, and can play him in a video game. I think that also specifically video games are uniquely suited to become universes beyonds, and I would encourage them to go towards video games because there is already if I can call it a ludic feel to them, a game feel. If I play something like, like Skyrim, for example, I play Skyrim. The way that I interact with Skyrim is I play it. When I pick up a sword or cast a fireball or kill a goblin, I'm doing it. I'm making the interactions happen. Spider-Man, I know there's a Spider-Man video game, but I mostly see him in comic books and movies. I watch him do things.
Sure.
There's kind of almost like a disconnect. Final Fantasy, yeah. I know we didn't have that with Lord of the Rings.
But their video games were sick.
But they did have some good video games. I know there's good Spider-Man video games too, but I don't think he's known for video games. And I think part of the reason that Final Fantasy was so good is because it is a video game. This is a game, and to kind of cross-game it makes sense. It's part of the reason that video game movies are hard to adapt it's hard to adapt a movie into a video game. It's hard to adapt a video game into a movie, and vice versa. Like, there's a dissonance between the two mediums. So I definitely think leaning more into making more video game crossovers is actually a really good idea. Because it makes it clicks with the player. If I say, we're playing a Ninja Gaiden. Okay, well, I know I make him jump around and I make him do ninja moves and sword moves and throw shurikens. Okay, so all that makes sense in terms of gameplay in the game. So, anyways, that's my thinking. What do you feel like belongs in Universes Beyond and what doesn't?
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to separate because we have they're picking all these different worlds, and what is a common theme in the ones that are successful. What's a common theme in the ones that aren't? That's going to be something that we have to look at going forward, because it's likely that whether or not they scale it back, it's likely that we're just going to always have at least, I think it's safe to say that going forward, we're going to have at least like one Universes Beyond set every year.
At bare minimum, probably two, but bare minimum one.
Right. So based on that, it's, and as we grow in the sample size of the Universes Beyond sets that are released, now we start to ask the question, what defines a good Universes Beyond set? What defines a bad one? What is a good thing to look for in the future when choosing a set? Because that's relevant, that's going to be relevant to them. They're going to, compile their own data, maybe find their own motifs that they see in good and poor performance. I think that's important. And it also seems to be the ones that you had a full set, it was better.
Full set. So, I think that's and I'm worried about that because they said TMNT is not going to be a full set. I think you absolutely
sounds like it's going to flop.
I think you have to have a full set.
Yeah. I opened, I don't know, maybe 15 packs of Spider-Man. Do you know how many repeats I got, dude? Because there's not enough cards.
Oh, yeah. No.
And when I did sealed on pre-release, I couldn't play more than, I got like 3 or 4 copies of some stuff, but the ones that I had 3 or 4 copies of, it was legendary. I can't play 3 copies of a legendary card in a sealed deck. It's 40 cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't, what am I going to do? Play it just to kill the other one to the legendary rule just so I play to spell that turn? It's not a good experience. So the biggest thing, because you and I talk about Constructed, a lot of the people in the council favor Constructed, but you got to think about how many people actually draft Magic. It's a lot. It's probably like it might be half. There are people that only draft, you know what I mean? Like,
every
there are
night,
people who or every weekend, whatever. And how do you sell more product? You have to draft. You have to draft. You have to pay to draft, and it's a grind. I'm probably not good at it enough to just free roll draft after draft like I know some people are. You know what I mean? I have friends who are pretty good drafters. I have a friend who qualified for the Pro Tour from a sealed tournament. He's a great drafter. He's really good at construct. He's just a good player in general, but he's a very good drafter, and he just understands. But you have to figure that nobody wanted to draft Spider-Man, and when you start it off like that, you're taking out half the people to begin with, and like I said, they even admitted that they didn't believe in their own product to draft enough to draft with it. That's damning. It's damning. So that definitely sets you up to not be successful. There are people who just go into LGSs and buy a box and say, "Yeah, me and 7 friends are drafting later." That's like their Saturday night, dude. Like, they invite 7 friends over, the host buys a box, and they freaking draft, and that's what they do.
And that's
people aren't doing that with Spider-Man right now.
For 8 people, that's reasonable. It's $120.
Well, it's also more expensive because it's freaking Universes Beyond.
Yeah.
It's like $160, $170 for the box. So you're paying more for a shittier experience. Like, they're just going to go buy an Edge of Eternity's box. They don't care. Edge of Eternity's was a better draft format. It was a better set. Well, we're just going to draft that. We don't need to draft Spider-Man. We don't care. So I think that was something. I think also, like, and this maybe goes with the fantastical versus magical. Let's look at it. Is a Lord of the Rings player or fan, I should say, likely to have interest in Magic cards that have Lord of the Rings stuff on them? We're gonna both agree yes. Like, let's say if it hadn't come out, you would say, does that sound like it's a good idea? We would both say yes, right?
Yeah.
It's same with Final Fantasy, right? These Final Fantasy guys love their characters. They love the summon thing. They're going to want to collect these Magic cards. They're going to want to get their Sephiroth and do this and do that. Now let's fast forward and do it and apply that to Spider-Man. I kind of don't care. Well, they got their comic books. They got their...
There's a lot of
whatever,
product that's,
you know?
that's kind of my point from previous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are we missing, is a Spider-Man fan lacking in content that he can engage with?
Never.
Do you know what I mean?
There is
video games.
There's overabundance, if anything.
Yeah, there is multiple movies. There's so many movies. You know, are they lacking something that they can't get anywhere else? And I just no. I don't think
and here's another question then in that case too, with the it's almost like I say, an overabundance of content. Has Spider-Man actually made so much content that they've kind of exhausted it? We have Miles Morales, we have the Amazing Spider-Man, we have regular Spider-Man, to the point where we tell the same story 5 different ways and 5 different times. Have we just have? I mean, and I think that's part of the limiting aspect of it. You can only do so much with just the concept of Spider-Man, and that's why we had to have Miles Morales and the Amazing Spider-Man and regular Spider-Man, UK Spider-Man, India Spider-Man. It's, you can only do so much with just the one story of Spider-Man himself. There isn't that much to it. Similar to Batman, but with Batman you have Joker. You do have such prominent characters within Batman. It is a little bit easier, but it's still it's a similar concept.
I feel I feel like the superheroes may do, I don't think it's going to do well. I'm worried.
Yeah.
It may do a smidge better because you have a more variety. Again, I think that one of the things that brought down Spider-Man was, first of all, you're going to have the same problem where the superhero wants everyone is a legendary. That's problem number one. That's not a good look. Number two is because they're legendaries, you know, they're going to be expensive, which is hard for standard. But I think that at the very least, you're going to have more variety. Every fucking creature is not going to be a spider-human hero. Like, that is one of the problems with Spider-Man, is they're either a symbiote or they're a human.
Or a villain,
they're a symbiote, villain, human, or spider. That's it. So you have a spider-themed set. How does that fit in with anything, with any of the synergy in standard right now?
It might as well have done like Jumanji Universes Beyond or something.
Yeah,
like that. You would have been better off doing that.
you may as well have made a wolf, and everything is a wolf. Like, it doesn't really, you know. Yeah, there's wolves. There's like 1 or 2 cards that have some kind of wolf synergy, but like, where do we take it from there? You know what I mean? So, even stuff like, and I feel like there was a good balance, at least in Final Fantasy. We did have legendaries of those crazy characters, but we also had regular cards that were powerful as well. We had normal cards that did the job when they needed to do it. Like Fire Magic, for one, is just a good card. You know what I mean?
Card, and also these legendaries were a little more consequential.
Yeah.
Sephiroth is a very important card. Vivi is a very important card. Cloud and Raban, if left unchecked, those cards go crazy. There aren't, in my opinion, there are not a ton of Spider-Man legendaries that are like, oh, if you don't answer this, you're gonna lose. There aren't a lot of those. No. You know, and that could be a design issue. You know? And that's another thing. We get into the fatigue as consumers. What about the fatigue as designers of the set? I'm not making excuses for why they made a shitty set, but let's talk about the pressure of it. You have to come up with banger after banger after banger. 7 sets a year now. It used to be, what, 4? Now it's 7. You got to line it up with the Universes Beyond. It's got to be on brand. It's got to be good. It's got to win the game. It's got to do this. It's got to do that. It can't be too powerful because you can't have an emergency ban on the thing that you're contracted to keep printing, because you have to kick back to Marvel, you have to kick back to Square Enix, you have to kick back to whomever.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of pressure to not too hot, not too cold.
It's got to be just right. Yeah.
Just right. And 7 times a year, 100. I think Spider-Man, they said it was like 90 cards or something like that. So like 90 cards here, 180 cards here, 180 cards again. Oh, this one's 90. You get a break this time. But it's not really a break because you're still doing almost double the workload. And knowing them, they have not consigned double the people to do this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They have not done that. They have not done that. If anything, we know that Marvel is constantly, or not Marvel, I'm sorry, Hasbro at this point is constantly getting rid of people. We haven't had the same community engagement person for, I think, more than 2 years at this point, since you and I have been content creators. Seems like every time we kind of get to know them, get comfortable with them, it switches to someone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we know that Hasbro is, and we hear about Hasbro layoffs. We hear about this. We hear about that. So there's no way that they brought in more card designers to to do this, but they're doing double the work now. It's like, so I look at a possible, and to us it looks like mismanagement, but it is or it isn't, depending on what your goal is. And, when you're bought by Hasbro, your goal, due to the nature of Hasbro and what we know about them, the goal, I think, at the end of the day is just money. It's not what it was before.
Yeah.
Where it was player experience. We have the best card game. You will never make a better card game than this. Ours is the best. There's no point in you even trying.
Yeah.
That's not the goal anymore. And I think that is disenfranchising people, turning people off to the idea as well. You have this kind of like rebellious type of thing to begin with in something like Magic, and like a lot of the lore is like a little bit of a rebellion, fight against the Phyrexians, whatever it is. But now it feels like we as players, like we're fighting against a corporation, a $1 billion corporation that doesn't give a shit about us. And they're like ruining our, I'm not going to say ruining, but a lot of people will say ruining our game. You know what I mean?
And I feel like there's a way to do it right. I think that
Sure.
You've said about things. I think there's a way to do it with care. I think there are things that can do well. There are IPs that can do well.
And be profitable.
And I think we saw that in Lord of the Rings, and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But man, it makes me to see this, and I see stuff online. I see big shelves. I see, like, somebody posted recently, I think on Reddit, with just a huge walls, piles and piles of product at like Micro Center.
Magic cards on Micro Center. Yeah.
Yeah,
because for a while you couldn't get anything. Like during Final Fantasy, you couldn't get any Magic cards off the wall.
No, you couldn't get them.
Even at Target, you couldn't get anything. But now, you might not be able to find Final Fantasy packs, but you can find some Edge of Eternities, but you're going to find a lot of Spider-Man. And I'll tell you right now, I have that GameStop Game Pass, or whatever it is, Pro membership, whatever the yearly, you pay like $25 for it. They give you a free $5 coupon every month.
Yeah,
that's why
you can basically buy a pack. Yeah,
you get your free pack every month. I'll tell you right now, if I go in there and I can get my free pack and there's an Edge of Eternities and a Spider-Man, I'm picking Edge of Eternities every time. Yeah. Every fucking time. So
there's a way to,
there's
a way to do it right, and that's what we want to see. I always say I want this game to succeed.
Yeah.
I have a personal.
We're kind of banking on it, aren't we, Jay?
We're banking on it. Yeah, like I want this game to succeed. So if I'm critical because I want the game to succeed. I think, let's talk about the next one. The release schedule. Holy shit, 7 sets.
Yeah, dude.
That might be a whole podcast.
They said it was going to be 5.
They said it was going to be 5, and then they dropped 2 extra ones. Yeah,
dude, that's insane. They lied. They lied to our faces. Dude, And then they said the content creators were the problem. Dude, you lied to all of us. What do you mean
Yeah.
content creators are the problem? You're liars. And you got...
Yeah,
and you
as far
won't
as
own
we
up
know,
to
I
it.
mean, they never made it official. It was just heavily implied.
Right.
That-
Well, I had like judges and tournament organizers telling me that. Like people who knew about Magic and knew everything that was going on, knew everything about it. That was the expectation that had been set. That's the issue.
Yeah. So
They didn't flat out say it, but they set the expectation, you know?
at least what we knew it was in the works. So there's a lot of product, man. I'm already tired thinking about it.
Dude, I didn't buy any Spider-Man. I had store credit for the pre-release. I think I had to pay like $10 to make up the difference, so I spent about $10 on Spider-Man. That's it. On Arena, I spent... I did buy the Mastery Pass. I always buy that. But I had the gems left over from before to just keep doing it. You know what I mean? And then I did a couple drafts that were not fun. And then I bought 30 packs in the... in the store with gold. But, overall money spent, I spent $10 on Spider-Man. And I don't plan on spending more unless it's to buy Morelands, a.k.a. Luis. And maybe some villains. Like, unless it's, like, to buy some of the cards that are actually good, just the singles. Other than that, I'm not spending money on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I hope that I'm not saying that again, 2 months from now when Avatar comes out. Whenever that's coming. Did you want to... We don't have to, like, maybe read them verbatim, but we can maybe talk about what some of the patrons had to say. I know we kind of talked for a while, but...
Tales from the Discord. Yeah, let's move on to that one. So we have a couple opinions here, and this is why we want you in the Discord and part of the council. I asked for some opinions.
Yes,
I'm going to pull up Trex's, and I asked... let's start with the first one we had from Lava to
You want me to do
Tailspinner.
lavas?
You can do Lava, and
Okay.
we'll react to these. We'll try to keep them a little quick fire.
Yeah. So we've got Lava, and this was... Lava was the first one to answer, so... Universes Beyond ought to have their own format built around the cards like Timeless or Alchemy. Okay. I like it.
I think that's going to
fine.
be... I think that's an interesting idea. I think it's going to be really hard to do. I wanted to bring up the other idea that I saw online that is kind of the inverse of this, in that they had people were inventing something called Planner Standard, which was a standard set that was only in Universe.
Yeah.
And they were saying you could run that, you could run tournaments, maybe we could get it brought to Arena. I don't think that Wizards would ever incentivize people to not buy their Universes Beyond product, so I don't think it'll ever be official. But I think it's something that you can do unofficially.
Some of those who are fortunate enough get to make their own events at Magic Cons.
Yes.
Some of the creators who are maybe a little more favored than you and I, but still, they get to make their own events. And maybe a creator will do that. Maybe they will get excommunicated for suggesting it.
Maybe.
Who
I
knows?
think it's a bold idea. Listen, we asked for hot takes, so what do you guys think about having a
Fire 'em
separate
off.
Universes Beyond thing? Let's hear it. I'm going to move on.
I was just going to say my thing about if we did do that is we kind of did have that with just Commander, and it was easier to police it with Commander because you could have house rules like, hey, no Universes Beyond cards, no One Ring, because that was the biggest thing was like everybody puts One Ring in their deck. That was a huge thing, and before. It was a thing about, Lord of the Rings was standard legal, which was like, people were kind of not sure how they felt about that.
Not sure, yeah.
But or did I say standard? I meant modern
Alchemy.
legal. Sorry,
Yeah,
modern alchemy, historic, all that stuff. But yeah, they weren't sure how they felt, and they ended up banning the One Ring from it, and some people thought Orcish Bowmaster should have got banned too.
Should be gone too.
And I think it got nerfed in Alchemy. Is that right? And historic, I believe.
Yes,
they both
they had the
cards
ability
did.
to change it. Yeah,
Right. So that was something. But equally, I have a friend. He has a cube that he's building, and it's actually just Universes Beyond Cube. So it's a cube of all Universes Beyond cards. You do a cube draft of just Universes Beyond cards, which I think that's cool. That's cool because you know exactly what you're signing up for. It makes the power level a little more even because it's just Universes Beyond. So you don't have some of the Universes Beyond cards coming in and just ruining the experience of, oh, this guy pulled a VV and I didn't, so I lose. You know what I mean? It's like, well, but you could pull a One Ring, you could pull a Bowmaster. You know, you could get this, you could get that. So there's a little more. You know?
Yeah, it's an idea. I don't know if it'll ever be official, but it is.
Yeah.
Maybe putting a little bit of a line between them might not be a bad thing, or at least a chalk line.
Planner Standard. I'm a big fan of that actually.
This next one, Trexodactyl. This is his take, and basically, I'll just read it. I don't think that UB is the problem. I think that bad UB choices are the problem. Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings showed us that people are willing to accept properties that make sense and are handled properly. Basically what we said. Also, it helps if the cards are actually good. Looking at you, Spider-Path. Yes, 100%. I think that bad UB choices are the problem. There was very minimal hate towards Final Fantasy. You had a very few grumblings here and there. I don't really know it, but I really don't think that there was that much hate towards Final Fantasy.
The people who did hate it just hated all Universe Beyond, no matter what it was.
No matter what it was, yeah, they hated it.
Those are the ones who hated it, and they were going to hate it no matter how well it did or how good or bad it was.
Yeah, they were gonna be anti no matter what. But I don't remember saying that anybody saying this is a bad choice for Magic. I mean, the land, the world was a bad choice.
Right, but Final Fantasy itself being bad for Magic, it's hard to say that all about the entire thing. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it's like Max Damage, who we had on the podcast. Do we have him on twice now? I think we had him on twice. Yeah. Good friend of the channel. Really good dude. Great guy. Good friend. He was agreeing with Trex. So,
but he brings up another point.
Yeah. So he has. Yeah, he has a podcast as well that he has for the what is it? Is it what's their group called? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Rebellion.
Right now. Rebellion, MTG Rebellion. I'm sorry. So they have a podcast and Max is on it. So he's saying that it's EDH brained set design is what's fucking us, not Universes Beyond itself. These sets can be handled with care. So that's something that Jay and I have talked about, I think, for a long time, even before really Universes Beyond became a set thing, was the catering to EDH wasn't, to the degree that they was not good for the game.
Yeah, I think that there is absolutely some merit to that, unfortunately. And I've said it for a while, and I'm always scared to death because I feel like the Commander people are going to come for me. They do get a little EDH brain, and you can clearly see what is supposed to be an EDH card and what isn't. Like, what is supposed to be, what is set up to be a Commander and what is set up for regular play. Like, you can kind of clearly see. And then we had the whole Nadu issue of...
Right.
I mean, they flagrantly said, well, we wanted it to be more viable for Commander, so that's why we upped it, and then it ended up being broken. So I think that there is an ongoing problem. I think that Max kind of illustrates an ongoing issue of... We have so many different... Magic is so big. We have to please the Universes Beyond people. We have to please the Standard. We have to Pioneer, the drafters. It's so many things to so many different people. It's getting so big that it's getting crazy unmanageable. And I do think that weak cards... I think we get both. And I actually said this. We get two powerful cards and two weak cards at the same time for EDH. They give us weak legendaries because they're like, well, here's a 2-drop legendary that's weak because it's going to be a commander. You're just going to play it over and over again. It's not very strong, And then they'll say, oh, well, here's a commander that can wreck everything, but it's a 7-drop because commander games go on for 6.5 hours.
And you can afford that.
You can afford it because you're going to put down
be playable.
You're going to put down Soul Ring, followed by Mana Lotus, followed by fucking whatever, and you know you could reanimate it, I guess, on turn 4 for Magic, but you know
outside of
that, what are you doing with it? So
yeah, so that's the thing. Dante had comments there too. So many Universe or Universe Beyond or SL. What's SL?
Secret Lair.
Secret Lair. Sure, they're done poorly thematically. I don't know if you need to be quite as critical on Secret Lair because it's just kind of like
cosmetic.
Yeah, and like it's just like if people really want it, they're just gonna get it. You know, they're just gonna do it. But I do agree with Universe Beyond. Just poor thematics. Feels like letting them be legal and standard with them being very EDH focused was not a good idea. So he's kind of agreeing with what Max said there.
Yeah.
Felt like Hasbro wanting Final Fantasy to be a money cow, cash cow, you know, which unfortunately worked. It did work, absolutely.
It worked, yeah.
And it kind of maybe let them, like they were feeling themselves after Final Fantasy. Like they were like, we cooked here. We need more Universes Beyond. It definitely made the case for it, and that doesn't help, you know.
Final Fantasy earned 5 years of Universes Beyond, in my opinion.
Yeah, there it is.
You had the all-time Steam high for Arena. The all-time Steam high for Arena, and the servers crashed. There was so much activity trying to people log in, you couldn't even play. There was so much hype. That has never happened. So you have these things. You have all-time high, servers crashing because everyone was trying to play, and then you look at my channel and you say, Jay, you got the most views ever of all time, the most views and the most watch hours ever on Final Fantasy. That thing was a grand slam out of the park. Round the bases, ball goes into the fucking floodlights and they explode into sparks.
Yeah.
The scoreboard explodes and fireworks go out. They could not have crushed it harder with Final Fantasy. And unfortunately, I think there's a little bit of hubris there. I think that it showed them that there's an appetite, but I think if there's a main point of this podcast, you've got to do it right. It's not automatic. It hit not because it was Universes Beyond, but because it was good.
Yeah. And that's where we got to give them credit. It was good. They have done it. They have done a really good job on a couple of them. It's just that this one was not a good job.
It was good. So those are our hot takes from our Discord. We'd love you to join. Two more things we're going to do real quick here. The main one I want to get to is a very dark one. The survey. On Twitter,
yes, just real quick.
Magic the Gathering. Well, we'll talk about it, and I have feelings about it as a creator. I'm sure you do too.
Me too. Yeah. Can't leave that one out.
On Twitter, they put out a thing and they said, "We want a survey. We want to hear from you how you're feeling about Magic right now." One of the questions on the survey was, "Did you?" I'm gonna struggle. I'm gonna look it up so I don't. But essentially, it was, Do you watch content creators? Yes or no? And when you watch content creators, did their negative opinions of Spider-Man, did they have negative opinions of Spider-Man, and can you tell us who it was? Who did you listen to that had a negative?
I don't know if they asked for.
Yeah,
names.
They had a list. They said who it was.
They did? Okay.
So here we go.
Well, that's crazy. That's almost violent. Yeah,
that's let's take a look here. They said let's see here. Targeting MTG influencers. To what degree did negative influence commentary impact your perceptions of Magic the Gathering Marvel Spider-Man set release? Okay. So they're asking that. They did follow it up with in another part they said, what content creators do you watch?
Okay.
So,
and I hope nobody put our names down.
Well, listen, I have to be critical. It's something you love. You don't write them a blank check. Listen, I'm a peer counselor. I can't write people if they're behaving badly or if they need to correct something. I need to tell them, hey, that's not good. This is good. This is bad. I'm not there to write them a blank check. I'm going to say you need to correct this problem. you know, so it's a bit disconcerting that it came off very callous of, did the influencers do this? Is that why you don't like Spider-Man? Because the influencers told you? Now, influencers do have influence, but...
Yeah, it's in the word, yeah. But for me, it's like, dude, you could have taken one word out of that sentence, and it would have been a lot less... what's the word?
Hostile?
Callous. Hostile, yeah. If you just take out the word negative, to what degree did influencers impact your feelings on the set? That's fine, because then that could be good or bad. And if they told you it was bad, then you don't need to... If they told you that they didn't like the set, then you don't need to say that influencers were saying negative things. Do you know what I mean? If it's already a negative survey to begin with, you don't need to mention negative influencer content. You would just reference influencer content in general. How much did that impact, you know, your feelings towards the set? And if you just said that, that leaves it open where it could be good or bad. And then you're not just saying, oh, the influencers are sabotaging our product, which is kind of effectively what you're saying. But that's where all that matters. Like, it's literally just, you threw that one word in there, you threw the word negative in there, and that is what made it all
what
bad.
it makes it sound like is who was talking shit. Let us know who said this is bad.
Yeah. It's like a snitch form.
Yeah, let us know who made you not like this, because we don't want to work with them anymore. Maybe we'll uninvite
It's like kind
them.
of like authoritarian too.
Yeah, it just feels weird, man.
Yeah. I'm on enough government lists, man. I don't need to be on a Hasbro list.
I didn't like that. And again, I am critical. I will say this is not a good look. And I can back it up with numbers. I'm not just talking shit. Look at my channel views.
It wasn't a good look for a lot of people in a lot of ways.
Look at my channel views. I'm telling you from my experience, from my real on the ground experience. So to kind of come out and be like, was it your fault? I don't know. I love Magic a lot. I want Magic to be successful. I really do. I have an interest in it.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, that left a sour taste, especially after Spider-Man just not doing good and feeling weird, and the general bad vibes that we were having about Universes Beyond in general that people were feeling already. I think that shook a lot of people that started looking for the door. I think it was just it was an insult to injury, literally.
It wasn't, and I think, like you said, when we were first meeting here, when we were going over our outline, it was tone deaf.
Yes.
Very tone deaf, because it's just like, where's the accountability? Where's the ownership that, hey, we acknowledge that we didn't do a good enough job and that we need to do better? But before you do any of that, you look to see who you can blame. And that isn't indicative of someone who wants an indicative response of someone who wants to do better and who wants to improve from we'll call this a mishap, you know, a bump in the road, who wants to get back on track from something like that. That's not how someone who wants to get better, or someone who is taking accountability, or someone who wants to correct or right or wrong, that's not how they react to things. That's how someone reacts to things when they think that they could never be the problem, which is like kind of narcissistic too, right? Like, that's why I say it feels like they were like gaslighting people into trying to blame the content creators instead of just taking ownership for it. That's like, it's almost okay. Here, you know what? Here we go. It's sociopathic behavior. There you go. It's sociopathic behavior.
On the other side, let's if we can look at the other side of it, maybe a little bit of overreaction on the players' side. The slop controversy. I am a pig and I eat slop. was the word of the day for a lot of stuff. This, to me, is a little bit of a hyperbolic overreaction. This was Jeremy White, I believe, reacting to Universes Beyond. He said it's like going to a restaurant and all of a sudden every time you go, they're serving more and more slop, and you say, I don't want slop, I want regular food, and they say, well, everyone loves slop. The restaurant has never been better because we serve slop now, essentially saying that, well, it's sold well and more people are coming in, that it doesn't matter. And so he says the only reason that you would say that this is a good thing is one of the reasons is I am a pig and I eat slop. That's the only reason that you would like that's the only reason that you would kind of like Universes Beyond for that purpose. Little bit of an overreaction, in my opinion. I think that's a little bit hyperbolic. Yeah. I think that the very concept of crossover product is not going anywhere. This is not a problem that is unique to this is not a problem or endemic, not to say a problem, but a phenomenon that is unique to Magic. This happens everywhere. You play Fortnite, obviously they call it the Fortniteification. Fortnite, every fucking thing that ever existed is there. But you play Helldivers. They've got Halo and Helldivers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You play anything, you put in any game or anything, there's crossover shit in it. You watch a Superman movie, Green Lantern's in it. There's always crossover shit going on between different properties, different ideas, different IPs. I just think it's endemic of, again, what I always say and what I aggravated my chat one time. I said, if you don't like Universes Beyond, I hate to point the finger at capitalism, but that's what you really don't like.
And that was going to be what I actually, when I tell you what I took from the pigs liking slop, I think the pig is a reference to capitalism. That's why you chose the word pig there. Yeah. Capitalist pig. That's kind of the idea.
Well, is it you just consume. You
keep consuming, consume. And you could make the argument, they're making the argument that Hasbro are the pigs. Then the pigs are feeding us slop. And if you consume it, you're also a pig. You know what I mean? So there's some truth to it when we talk about the kind of authoritarianism and which everyone knows that end stage capitalism leads to authoritarianism. That's kind of what we're getting into as a society. We'll maybe talk about that a different day. But capitalism cannot survive without authoritarianism and violence from the state. Violence from the state, violence from Hasbro onto content creators, so to speak. That's part of it. You know what I mean? Hasbro is ultimately a capitalist company at the end of the day, which is why they are primarily motivated by money. And that is, what we said is one of the biggest issues. They
do want to put out a good product that people want, but at the end of the day, they're going to go where the money is. And if the money is there, that's where they're going.
Yeah. Yep. And I think other people have ways to respond with their own money, with their wallet, and that's why you see an exodus in the player base at this time. Yeah, that's the response. It's almost like a soft, unorganized boycott.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a little extreme. I think that, I know he's a pro player. I don't know as a pro player how you feel about it. Do you feel like it's
I'm not a pro player, but
Well, close enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the concept of Universes Beyond altogether yet. Spider-Man hasn't made me hate it. Mm-hmm. I'm not happy about the 7 sets next year. I'm not happy that at least 2 of the Universes Beyond sets will probably suck. Just based on trends and what we've seen. They can still make Ninja Turtles good, but it's probably at this time more likely to suck than it is to be good.
I think
I get it.
I think that Hobbit will be fine.
Hobbit's fine.
I don't think any of them. I think while we're in here for a rude awakening, I don't think any of them are going to be as popular as. I don't think any of them are going to be as popular as whatchamacallit.
Lord of the Rings or Final Fantasy for the matter.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is going to hit.
For me, it's, how do you make, what do you call it? How do you make The Hobbit as good as Lord of the Rings?
I don't think you can.
You can't.
Lord of the Rings is objectively a better book, more interesting, more action,
more to it,
more just it's just flat better. So I just don't think that you can.
Right. So there's that, and then there's Ninja Turtles. We just don't expect that to be good. Now, not that we expect Hobbit to be bad, just not as good.
It's not going to be as good.
What are the other UBs next year?
Star Trek, which I'm going to have to make a whole video on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I love Star Trek. I want to say
I don't like it personally. I
love Star Trek. I used to go to Star Trek conventions.
Okay.
Dressed up like the characters when I was a
kid. There are some mega people really do enjoy the show. They seriously love it.
I love Star Trek. It doesn't belong in Magic. I have never seen a more mismatched pairing. But anyways, we'll get to that. It's superheroes.
What?
It's Marvel superheroes. TMNT. It's literally called superheroes.
So is Ninja Turtles independent of that?
Ninja Turtles, superheroes, Hobbit, Star Trek. That's the order they come in.
So superheroes is going to be a bunch of the superheroes, which means that should at least be a full set.
Yeah.
So that makes you wonder, maybe a lot of these are experiments. Final Fantasy. How fucking baller can we make this shit? Okay, we knocked it out of the park. Spider-Man. How little work can we do and still get away with it? Okay, Spider-Man was the worst one. Ninja Turtles. Can we make... That'll give us a chance to maybe try to do what we did with Spider-Man, but make it not suck so bad. Okay. Superheroes. That's going to give us a chance to do what we did with Spider-Man and Ninja Turtles, but actually do a full set and see if this shit's a good idea or not. And then Star Trek. Can we take something so far from left field and still have it be a good set?
Yeah. It's possible.
It sounds like they're with because we're in the beginning of this shit still. It almost sounds like they're testing the waters, and we're I mean, any consumer is, but we're effectively the guinea pigs of what does and doesn't work in Universes Beyond. And maybe this period of, we'll call it growing pains, is going to be good for if we do have Universes Beyond for a long time, because they're going to learn what does and doesn't work very quickly. Now, in regards to what doesn't work, they're going to need to be a little bit more receptive of that and take ownership of the fact that, hey, you just didn't do a good job here. They're gonna need to get a little bit better at that and stop pointing the finger so much.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. If that can happen, and if they do that, and if they learn from it, and you tell people, I hear you tell people all the time, you don't like Universes Beyond, don't buy it. So hopefully enough people,
you've got to
vote with your wallet. So hopefully enough people vote with their wallet. If the set is bad, if it's good, I'm not going to tell you not to buy it. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but I'll tell you that, and Jay and I will both tell you that is a way for you to communicate to them that you don't like it. If you say you don't like it, but you still spend money on it, it's like, well, he kind of did like it at least a little bit,
Yeah, you did something with it, yeah.
You liked it X dollars worth, like that's how it's measured. That's all that it is how much you spent and how much you didn't spend. So that's what it comes down to. Yeah. So do that. Think of that and make them feel it. If it's bad, let them know with your wallet. That's what I think they listen to that more than the others. And I think that's part of it. And hopefully, the frickin', what do they call those guys? The frickin', who are the guys that show up at people's doors?
The Pinkertons.
The Pinkertons. Hopefully the Pinkertons aren't showing up at my door.
Yeah.
And Jay's door.
We can only hope.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
We can only hope. So
that would be something.
As are our complicated, diverse feelings. Trepidation going into the new year. Trepidation. We're going to have to see how Avatar does. We're going to have to see how Ninja Turtles does. 2026 is going to be a wild year. We're getting a new set every 52 days.
Wow, not even 2 months, brother.
52 days.
Oh, it can't be because there's 7. Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. Every 52 days, you will be getting a new set.
I'm already tired.
I'm already tired thinking about it. We have to do that many top 10s.
Not any more episodes.
7.
And then speaking of Avatar, we're gonna have an Avatar preview for you soon too.
We'll have an Avatar. They're not starting the official.
Preview.
They're not starting the official yet. That starts.
When does it come out?
It comes out the 21st. It comes out the 21st.
November?
Yeah, 18 on thing, but technically the preview season starts on Tuesday the 4th.
Huh. It feels like they're like doing the previews closer to the release this time, doesn't it?
They have to. They got to give. They're coming out so fast.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. So,
because it felt like before you almost had like a 2 to 3 week waiting period.
Yeah.
When all the stuff was available, like all the info was available, and then it started coming out. But it feels like now it's like that maybe a week now.
Yeah.
Where after you know all the cards, then okay, boom, pre-release.
Regardless, we will be there to exhaustedly cover it for you. But we've gone on too much.
Yes.
And we
don't want to take up any more of your time.
We will not take any more of your time. We will say thank you for joining us. We're going to call this meeting of the Black Council to a close. Happy universing. Good luck out there, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.